So this was Friday. Yeah,
Right.
this is last Friday. Now what you'll find is patterns with the days. So what you'll find is that if you go to the previous week on Friday, or
Mm-hmm.
if you go to previous Friday, so this was like 2 weeks apart, right? This was also a Friday. Just something to pay notice is that this was a Friday, but this was a Friday as well, right? So it's just something to bear in mind that look at what Friday is doing. Friday is consistently bullish, right? So it's you want to get good at recognizing the patterns. And the way you
Mm-hmm.
utilize the patterns is by understanding where the levels are. So it's understanding where the levels are and then finding patterns from there. And I'll show you some more patterns later on. But where this level came from was actually this day. So this is Tuesday, the 20th of Jan. And so how did I get this level? So basically, there was a small fair value gap here. It wasn't necessarily the best level of the month, in my opinion, but there was the level there. And so because of that, this now becomes your level. So the reason this was a level is because yes, it left a fair value gap, but more importantly, when you go back and look at these areas like I've done, the reason this has stayed on my charts is because there were passive sellers here, right? There were definitely passive buyers here. I know that because I actually took a trade and I remember these two zones quite well. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes.
that's the reason why. So if we keep going, so this is now sort of end of January. I mean, it's not a coincidence that the low of the week or the week started here bouncing higher again because what's happened is price created supply, price then created
Right.
demand, price then created demand, price was still holding as demand, right? So we're seeing one fair value gap give multiple absorption points. Yep. Does this make sense?
Yep. Yes.
Now, once you have this, the next thing to do is to keep going. I mean, it's not a coincidence that we had this, what day was this? Monday. So we had like the low of the week also coming off this zone, right? So price has shown us multiple times that it's holding as demand, which means buyers are in control, demand, and then once again, demand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's continue moving. So again, not a coincidence, we hold as demand, right? Once again, we hold as demand. So what we're now looking for is we're seeing these large kind of pivot points or these whatever you want to call them, support and resistance, supply and demand, we're seeing the flips and the interactions taking place at these areas. So this is now a demand to supply flip. And the reason it's a key level is because it left a fair value gap and there were multiple absorption points. It's kind of, I think it's what you wrote here somewhere. Uh,
You're right.
Perfect absorption, aggression, delta flip. Yeah, so it's basically a
The,
flip zone from demand to supply. That's basically how, even if you look at Carmine, that's how he gets his levels. It's the same thing.
yeah.
So again, let me just leave that there. So what's going on now is if you go to Friday the 20, I don't know if you go back on the Discord and see I took a trade here, right? Even though it was very close to the equilibrium, so kind of chopped around, but it said we got the trade from this zone, right? So again, what happened was we are interested in areas where limit orders are resting. So these are going to be buy limit orders, so it creates a demand zone. Then we have supply zone, so it
Supply.
creates sell limit orders. And then from here, if you go back and scroll up on the Discord, I'll give this to you as a homework, maybe later on. This was a demand zone, right? Because it was a flip. So sell limit orders became buy limit orders,
Right.
basically. And also, it's important to note that all this activity actually derived from here. You see that?
Mm.
Now,
Yeah.
if you keep going, again, recognize the pattern, which was a Friday, the 20, sorry, it's a Friday basically. The date is not so important, it's a Friday. So even if you look this week, a lot of the good trades, we were very responsive around this same level from here, right? So if you go here, this was a Friday, and what happened yesterday was there. It was basically the same trade as 2 weeks ago. Same thing. Exactly the same
Right.
thing. Exactly the same thing. No difference. No difference at all. So hopefully